Well, obviously, more and more is going digital, as it should. More and more services are becoming digitalized, and obviously, so more and more systems are becoming digitalized. So the attack surface is much bigger than it ever was before. And in a geopolitical sense, it's very clear that any conflict in the future would be played out in cyberspace, being the fifth arena. I think it is the first being land and sea, air, space, and cyber. So that's going to be an increasingly important arena for protecting secrets and revealing other secrets. The flip side of that is that we also need to think differently about cybersecurity, because I think in many cases we're still applying a mindset from last century to our security systems. And I think we also need to rethink that to actually achieve better security. So that will have to be about data and automation. Like I said, more and more data is being collected. I think that doubles every couple of years. And automation, like with that data, we need automation, and it's coming. And whether that's robotic process automation to make our workflows more efficient, or whether it's artificial intelligence to uncover patterns that we never saw before, or whether it's just automating a workflow, all of that underpins the future. Automation, as I spoke about in my talk, automation of our infrastructure, building our services can be automated now. The testing of them can be automated. And all of that is actually vitally important, because the alternative is not an option. If we don't automate, we simply can't do what we need to do. Well, I think there are two I can think of. The first one is inertia. The government does not move very fast when it comes to change, not as fast as the requirement. And I mentioned in my talk, when is the last time you have seen a threat and risk assessment of the status quo? Like, it's always when there's a change that we are worried, but we should be worried about not changing. I think that's a big challenge. The other challenge is that there are so many different providers, so many different platforms, so many different options. And as a sort of a public service agency, we are struggling to pick the right ones and integrate them, because there is no solution out there that will do it all. I mean, the vendors will say it is and say it does, but it isn't. So we always face ourselves with a hopscotch of different systems that need to integrate. And that's a massive challenge. We focus a lot on human side of it. Culture is the key word here. And that is about empowerment, making people feel safe to experiment, for example, safe to fail. The word fail stands for first attempt in learning. Yes, so for people to have the freedom and ability to fail and learn from that failure is really important, to make people feel safe and know that they are safe and valued. Only then can we talk about harnessing automation and data. Well, two things that I can think of, like really integrated services for our citizens, right? So take, for example, when a child is born and has to be named and get a Medicare card and all these things, there are just a bunch of different processes that the parents have to go through. That should be an integrated experience where you name the child, give birth to the child, name the child, and the rest should be automatic, so that the parent can focus on the child and not filling in forms. And that should go all the way through school, where you currently have to fill in forms at every twist and turn with the same information over and over again. So applying the FAIR principles, findable, accessible, interoperable, and repeatable or reusable to our data, that would be like with a view to have a good user experience. That would be the one thing I think we should focus on. The other one, which is maybe a bit more esoteric, is post-quantum encryption, because a lot of our systems, they rely on cryptography to keep them safe and secure. If the idea of a quantum computer actually comes to fruition, that will break the vast majority of our encryption algorithms. So we need to start thinking about what encryption looks like in a post-quantum world, because when it happens, or if it happens, that would be very dramatic. It's vitally important to know what others are doing, because it helps us believe that we're on the right path, and we learn things. I mentioned in my talk how we learned lots from Australia Post, who were really a pioneer in cloud computing, and we met them at conferences. So that's really important. And yes, this has been fantastic. Even though it says AI and data, people talk about a lot more, like human culture and software engineering and automation and all these other things. So I think it's really nice and diverse. We are at the threshold of 2022. and automation and data-driven systems is happening. Digital transformation is happening.